Hello everyone, welcome to your first fun-filled video of Erich's art school painting and art. So here I am in upstate New York. I'm on a couple hundred acres of property that I've got a place to stay at, free roam of the property. It's amazing. Everyone told me I'd freeze and it's a dumb idea. Starting to think I might have been. But anyway, we have a beautiful blue sky. It's currently, I think, 8, 10, or 12 degrees or something right there, but no wind, so we're okay. When the wind picks up, boy, does it get cold. My mouth is freezing shut already. Anyway, so what we're going to do out here is, because I don't get to paint snow and all that stuff, I'm out here, it's snow, and here's our setup. So we've got icy white, we got just a touch of warmth yellow, we have super cold blue, and not so hot red. Okay, those are the that's the palette we're going to start with, and then maybe, since I don't really paint out here much, I might add some colors in later. However, I've done some snow work, but this is a little different, I think. Anyway, let's follow along in this painting journey, and we'll see what happens. I'm here for 10 days, by the way. 10 days, nothing but painting. No family stuff. That was yesterday. No have to be somewhere, not have to do something. Nothing. This is just the Erich Fine Art Painting Competition of being alone for 10 days painting in the woods competition. And then actually I'm going to give away all my paintings to relatives who want them. It's kind of a way of saying, hey, relatives. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so if you fly, here's the trick. If you're gonna go fly, is what you do is you and you have like mineral spirits of some sort. You just toss them, clean your jar out, take the opportunity to clean it all out and everything, and then when you get to your destination, go to the hardware store and get a new thing of odorless mineral spirits. That's a pro tip. All right, so let's see what happens. I mean, it is freezing level. We are well below freezing, so we'll see if see how that really affects the paints. I gotta be honest, I'm not really sure how this is gonna work. I'm just gonna keep doing it the way I've always done it. Start with a nice thin everything, and then just kind of go from there. That's a little hash marks. This is a panel I made. This is linen with a like an oil ground or something like that. Okay, so here we are out in our scene. Now we got the trees, we got some shadows, and then we got this, as the snow comes forward and all the deer tracks and everything gives some, whatever. And then so the whole background is really just a menagerie of abstract shapes. Don't get too wrapped up in trying to draw all the trees and this and that and everything. The whole point is just to have like a menagerie of forest behind there. But like we're going to pick this tree as kind of like a central area to come into and then get ourselves through it there. May or may not put in some of the other stuff as it just kind of goes back with this tree right here. So let's draw this in. Gotta be honest, I really can't feel my fingertips that well, even though I got the little hand warmer things in my gloves, and that's pretty cool and everything, but geez, the fingertips, man. Fingertips are a little, but we got 10 days of this, so we gotta make it work. I was told that as long as it's not windy, it's okay. They're like, oh, it's cold, but at least it's not not a windy cold. And the same thing back home. It's like, oh, it's a hot, but at least it's a dry heat, So, going with the mixing here, see what we get. Since this is my first paint, this is really kind of a practice run just to see how this is gonna play out. Like what our layering of clothing I'm gonna need to get through these days. Okay, so I'm mixing up a background here. It's like a gray woodsy color. So the idea, of course, is to simplify the shapes that we have in the background here. And so, you know, the idea is you just want to simplify it all. Don't get too caught up in the weeds, so to speak, of trying to make it look like a forest, because it's just kind of an abstract background, and that's what we're really going for. Just keep it a little bit thin at this point. So funny enough, you know, there's like this. This is the first day of February, 2026, and you know they had this, you know, bomb cyclone, this and that, nor'easter, this and that. I don't know, just, you know, all this really crazy weather, a real huge cold snap that came through most of everything. And so, meanwhile, back home in SoCal, we're having a heat wave, and it's like 80 degrees out and gorgeous and everything. So anyway, so it looks like I brought some of the nice weather here, because, you know, all week it's forecast to be pretty nice, except for I think Friday. It says chance of snow, so I'm really hoping to see some snow, because I think that would be really cool. To see some snow and all that good stuff. Okay, so now that we have, you know, basically this laid in here of this, you know, as it goes in, it goes to the rest of the forest. So then is what we're going to do. So as it comes down, it comes up, it comes down, we're going to, you know, start picking out details here and there. Just kind of bring it forward, bring it back. Again, you're not looking for details in, you know, that's a tree and that's not a tree. You just kind of, you know, a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, and to kind of give the illusion that there's a whole bunch of trees back there. So like here, this is a little bit darker mix, so you just kind of go in here. You know, real subtle value changes, real subtle everything. Value, color, find some edges, lose some edges. Okay, so let's start bringing up some of the snow here in the foreground. Now, instead of just white, you know, if you really take a look at it, there's, you know, it gets warmer as it comes forward, a little cooler as it goes back. Got some highlights, this and that. So, you know, just a hint of color here and there. So like here it is with the white, just a hint of the blue. And we'll use this as our background color. And so then what we'll do is we'll bring it forward just to start building in, like, you know, our texture in the background here. You know, all the little snow hills and everything in the background. As I'm noticing with the snow, you got this really kind of fun, warm, cool, you know, texture playing off each other. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on here. This little bit of snow up here, especially in the front, is this warm, cool. All right, let's start putting in this tree, and then our blue sky. Then we'll go back in with a lot more detail, or, you know, to start refining our center of interest and all that good stuff. So let's go back in and mix some, you know, mixing a little of everything here. But we're going to keep it mostly like the yellow-red with the blue, just to knock it into the gray area. And we'll see what we get with this. I'm not thinning it down, but I'm using the previous puddle that is colorful, or, you know, got enough solvent to move it around a little. Alright, let's get our puddle going. Again, we want, you know, mostly it's the red and yellow, and then the blue to knock it back down, and keep it pretty warm, actually. This, like, kind of move around as we go through and put in some of these, you know, branches. Another decrease. Is that what this stuff is called? You know, when you're doing this stuff, you really want to not just randomly place this stuff, but you know, keep your you know, composition balanced. The roadmap you put down should have enough left in it, even with all the abstract stuff you put on, to help you balance out the composition. Okay, so now I'm going to put in this blue background because it's like super gorgeous blue. It's like supposed to be cloudy. I said clouds by 2, and it's like almost 2, but there's like no clouds. So hey, let's get this blue sky in, huh? Yeah, the whole point of doing this whole thing. So I came out here for my cousin's wedding, and it was a nice wedding last night and everything. The fun part is they got married at the same venue that my parents got married at back when, I don't know when they got married, like a long time ago. And so they got married in the same exact place, the Pulaski Club. Anyway, so it was actually, I don't know, neat, I guess, being there. And, it's like, if you think of the nostalgic part of it, that was kind of cool. But anyway, so, I just saw this as an opportunity, even though it's in, the first week of February. I need to change. I need to get out. I need to move around. I need to experience something new. And usually when I do painting, I usually do like one painting competition away so that I can, get out and experience something new. And that's usually what I do. Usually you do a competition, you stay with the host family. And I've been really lucky to stay with some really awesome host families. I mean, really lucky. So anyway, but you're also in a competition, so you got to paint. There's an expectation. There's this and that. You also have to bring frames. But for something like this, it was just a, just come here, hang out, my time zone, my everything, and that is what I think is a magical thing to experience for an artist, plein air artist, is to take opportunities as they come that you can really go and just immerse yourself in what you're doing and enjoy your craft. That is absolutely a magical experience. The cold stuff, but I live somewhere where it doesn't get cold like this. So this kind of coldness is part of the adventure. It's part of doing something new, something different, experiencing it. So people say, "Oh yeah, it's cold there." I'd be like, "Oh really? How cold can it possibly be?" And I could be like, "Oh goddamn, it's pretty cold." As I can barely move my jaw enough to enunciate, my nose is running. But anyway, so you get the gist of this here. It's you get different atmosphere, different vibe, a different something, and having absolutely no this, no that, no rush to be somewhere, to be unsomewhere, and the fact that I'm on a couple 100 acres of property that I have free range of. It's not bad, guys. There's a Tim Hortons down the street if things get really hairy. But that's about it, I went and loaded up the fridge with plenty of stuff to eat and all that good stuff. I know there's some people, the Granite Group, I think they call themselves. They go up into the Sierra Nevadas. They get like 100 mules to lug all their shit out and everything, and they go out and paint and everything, and it's just a fun group painting with other artists, and that's awesome. It's also like $2,000 to $5,000, which that's more than what I had budgeted. I mean, gotta be honest with this. This trip has cost me not a lot of money. I think I almost spent enough money on groceries as I did on the plane ticket to get out here. Let me put it that way. All right, so we're just going to take a step back, take a look at this. I think I need to put in some more, a lot of grays, bring in some whites, but really kind of push and pull some of these grays and upper and lower stuff in the background here. So let's try some of that. Using this puddle of color I have for that gray trees, I'm just going to add in some white and some blue, and we're going to use that. So it's not only mixing up a whole new color, we can use that, and then just suggest it down in the darker areas down here where all the critters are. So if you're wondering, what am I going to do with all these paintings I'm doing out here? I mean, I can't very well pack them up on my way out. So what I'm doing is I'm going to leave them here at the place I'm staying, and then come springtime, all the relatives that live back east here are more than welcome to come in and take whatever they want, and they can have it. And then whatever isn't snatched up, somebody can send them back to me, and that's kind of the plan, but just kind of a way to thank all the relatives and family members and all them, for hosting me, putting up with me, this and that, and saying hi and all that good stuff. And of course, the real joy to me is really just being out here painting, but I also like to share my work. So if I've got family members who are who want a painting, who want one of these things, that would be fantastic. It makes me feel good, because the whole point of this is really to try and get people to sign up for my school account. I'm doing school. I'm going to start teaching online and occasionally in person as the ideas and the venues come up, and start teaching a lot of painting. I mean, mostly I feel like, unless you're like one of the, super duper top awesome people in the field, but then, you look at those and it's like, those are just like the chosen few, like who blessed them? I don't know. But I really like kind of teaching this stuff because it's kind of fun, and I get to kind of be a goofball sometimes, just tell bad jokes, but kind of clean. Not, I mean, we're talking like the early evening show, not like the kids show, but like an early evening show, but not the late show stuff. But plenty of jokes involved. Okay, don't be confused. I like, so if I like the whole, just having fun and teaching and all that good stuff. And so I'm going to do it via school, but then I'm going to have like a Patreon stuff, and of course stuff that goes on YouTube. And there'll be different aspects of painting and what have you, and different things. But the school account's going to be the one where it'll be like two classes a week, and it'll be interactive. It'll be not just like, hey, watch me paint. It'll be, let's paint together, paint a scene together, discuss it and talk about it as we paint it, so that you can help yourself grow as an artist. That's the whole point, is not to have you paint and watch me paint and get bored out of your mind, but to be interactive, be working on it as we paint together, so that you can increase your skills right along with everyone else in the world. And that's the whole point of my school accountant teaching, okay? Not, hey, I'm super awesome artist and paint like me. That's not the deal. One of the things that I always notice when in some of those other videos of people are teaching you to paint and everything, it's like, hey, just watch me paint. The one thing is, like, a lot of those, it's like it's skipping a lot of the basics before you can get to the basics of painting, and those are some of the things that I really want to cover and stress, because once you get all the basics down, then it's really your personal journey, and then that your personal journey becomes very personal in terms of what you need to do to improve your work. And so but the basics and the foundation are, of course, by far the most important thing you can do, and a lot of my teaching will focus on that. And then, later on, and I'll be in there, is, how to go from like, oh wow, yeah, I got the basics going, I got my style, I got my this and my that, but what am I missing? Like what? Because that's one of my things that I had noticed when in my painting journey is, what is it that I'm missing that just is not making it from, oh hey, yeah, that's a nice painting, to, oh wow, that's an award-winning painting. And and it's hard to find people who understand what you're asking for when you're asking for help trying to define your already well-defined style, because it's hard to say what is it that is really missing at this point, because you're like, oh no, it's got all the elements, it's got all this, it's got all that, it's the whole 9 yards, but what exactly is it missing? And so that's part of one of the other things I want to do with my school account, is to help people understand that as well. And one of the ways you do that is by having a body of work that you've already worked on, that you can then go back and say to your earlier self, hey dude, you know what you need to work on? Yeah, this isn't right, this is good, this is not working, that's really working well, keep that up, push this idea more, stuff like that. And so that's really, like, that'd be like an advanced kind of thing, like advanced part of the class. And that is I remember when I took a workshop with Ken Oster, it's like, one of the things that he said, really important was edit. And that means looking at what you're doing and understanding what's working, what's not working, and fixing it. And that was a very key part. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh no, that looks great, it's mine, it's awesome. But not realizing that, yeah, it's great, but it's not great. All right, I don't know what you guys, my fingers are freaking numb. They are numb. And surprisingly enough, I'm not hydrated well enough. That's one thing about being out here is, it's snow, this and that, and everything, but it's dry. Like, I'm used to living at the beach, and it's not dry there. I'll tell you that much. All right, so as you can see, we've done one painting out here in this beautiful upstate New York area. The sun is still shining, and there's supposed to be clouds, but there's no clouds. So I think I'm going to do another painting after I go and warm up the fingers a little and hydrate up. So one down, 29 or so to go. All right. Okay, so here we are, painting number 4, I think. So this is our scene out here, okay? It kind of dictates itself. I'm going to really focus on the right side as it goes out in there, and then, some of the stuff on the left. So it's like a warm side, a cool side. We got the power lines coming through, and, just all, it's like, but it's really like 2 colors out there, okay? So, the whole point of this one is to really, just focus on this, really awesome kind of 2-color thing, and then put the power lines in. So if also, these are high tension power lines apparently. So if things get weird, that's what it's from, not the cold. Even though it's in like the 20s, like the low 20s right now apparently, with the sun on me and no wind, I was like, I don't know what you guys are complaining about, man. This is kind of nice. All right, let's get to work. Okay, so again, what we have here is blue. Okay, so again, what we got here is our super cold white, not too warm yellow, super cool blue, not even hot red, and then I put some of this umber in here, raw umber, I believe, and a little white to mix up this little color I got going here to be our drawing color, just to sketch in our composition. Keep it thin, and let's draw it in. Now I don't have my umbrella because I didn't want to bring it because it just seemed like extra work and stuff. So I got to work with the sun here. That's it. Even though I really wish I had an umbrella right here, because holy Toledo, man, it is bright. Man, like, Jesus Christ, is it bright. Now this is interesting composition, and part of the reason why I want to do this composition is because I want my palette to fall over the place. And so one of the reasons that I want to do this composition was because, you know, as you look up here, you have this, you know, valley, you know, it just, you know, cut right through the trees, dink, dink. I mean, like, that's not something you would normally do, but it's something I wanted to do because I thought it'd be kind of a fun challenge. And, you know, of course, the whole point of being out here doing 4 paintings or so a day is to do, to challenge myself, you know? I mean, that's the whole point, is to challenge yourself. And will it work out? I don't know. We'll see. Guess you could just skip to the end and see if it worked or not. But come along with the journey. That's the whole fun part. Okay, so we're just blocking in this color here, but we're going to come back in and do a little bit of more abstract painting in it to show some fun variations of the trees and stuff in there. I'll tell you, one of the challenges is, you know, since I've got the sun behind me, because I mean, good Lord, is it bright. So I gotta, you know, figure out what color I'm mixing and then put it in here, but what's on the palette, what's going up here, what's going on there are two different things altogether. All right, so now I'm just going to, you know, just blank it all in, and then some of those trees in the foreground we can just, you know, pull out like I did. I kind of put them in here, but then we're going to pull them out. But let's see if we can mix up a color here that just kind of is our gray. I mean, like, I gotta be honest with you guys, like, I can barely see the painting as it is. This is like challenge level 1000. I mean, like, I'll be really surprised if I pull this painting off. Let me put it that way. Okay, I'm actually gonna rotate this so I can get a better, like. Okay, so what I did is I rotated the easel around, so now that I've got some shade on this, you know, I just have to, you know, turn to go look at it. But oh man, this is still, like, it's hard to see. It's so bright. And I want this background to be really, you know, blue-gray sent back, but I mean, there's like also so much light on it that it's, you know, you gotta really work the values here. So again, we're just putting in a lot of abstract shapes, colors, and stuff just to get the general overall sense of stuff, and then we'll come back in and put details in this part to, you know, to show that you're out here in the woods. Okay, so now I'll put in some of this other stuff coming in over on the left side here. Now, in the scene, the trees don't go up over the hillside here, but I'm going to do it because I want to balance out the composition a little. Okay, so I'm going to balance that out. So you do what you need to do to balance out your composition, and then I'll balance this one out, and then later we can all take a look together. Okay, so now while I put these pretty dark in here, as you can see, it's actually pretty light, but there's the, you got, in order to get the light, you got to show the dark. So then when we come back in over it, in a second here, so we're going to come back into our same puddle of color we used for a lot of the other brownish gray stuff, and so now we're going to use this to suggest in these trees that we have here. You know, these really bright foreground trees. And of course the light's coming from down here, like kind of like this. So you gotta make sure you put the light side and the light side. Don't mix them up either, or else your painting won't check right and people will be like, oh, it looks good, but something's off. And usually, like, a lot of people will be like, what? It's like just enough off that makes you a little confused until you realize, oh, it's because you mixed up your shadows or directional light, and it's just kind of fun to watch people look at it. Okay, so now all the snow is the same color, right? But still, you have to have the snow going from the back to the front. So you got to show that perspective using the same color, more or less, but you're going to go warm and cool subtly to bring it forward. One thing I do know is that it's not white. So if you're like, oh, the snow is just white, just paint white. Nope, it's not. Just like clouds. Clouds is just, oh, just paint white clouds. And I was like, yeah, they're different. They're not what you think they are. You know, with the limited palette, just, you know, yellow, blue, red, and white, and a little bit of brown, you know, we gotta really dial this in, I guess. You know, and I think the reason why it's so bright here as opposed to what I'm used to back home is because back home, you know, living near the beach, the air is generally pretty moist. And so a lot of that moisture in the air, you know, kind of acts as a kind of an umbrella in a way. You know, it diffuses a lot of the light and all that good stuff. Whereas here, it's dry, and so there's no moisture in the air, and that is kind of what's leading it to being so bright. And I remember up in Colorado, some guy was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, you know, if you know, because as the stars were out and it's so amazing and this and that and everything, he goes, oh yeah, if it got like another 10 degrees colder, he said you see like way more stars. And the reason is because the moisture in the air. That's what obscures it. Like, you think, you know, seeing stars at the beach would be super cool, but really you don't see a lot because, you know, it's just, there's always a lot of moisture in the air, so you really don't see a lot. So you gotta go up high where it's cold, up in Maui, and go look at it through their telescopes. So let's go and just kind of refine up some of this snow and some of the shapes and objects. And I don't know if it shows up. Who knows what's showing up here? But so you have the snow thing, and so this is bluer with some of the yellow, and then it gets warmer as it comes up here with the real warm batch right in here. Oh hell! You know, the real warm batches come through here, and you know, put some air holes in it, whatever. But you know, you want to bring it forward, and so that's what we're doing. And then there's even this cool forward, you can go back and forth, as we'll be doing here in a minute, to show the like the shadow versus the sunny side of the snow that's catching the light versus what's not catching the light. All right, so now let's come back in, since we got, you know, pretty much all our fun abstract stuff done. Let's come back in and put a little more detail and tighten it up a little. All right, so yeah, let's just tighten up a few key places. Again, the whole point of this is to iterate a bunch of paintings and to, you know, paint in snow and have fun doing it. And you know, when you iterate a lot, you get to play with, shapes and colors a little bit more, and that's, you know, what we're really doing. It's not so much you're looking for like some type of, you know, amazing finished painting. That's kind of inconsequential. You know, these are studies. They're ways to get out and have fun and play with shapes and line quality and color and all that good stuff. So don't, you know, put too much pressure on yourself. If it doesn't come out looking, you know, like, oh my God, I'm going to enter that in $1 million competition and make millions of dollars. Yay! No, you're not. No, you might. I don't know. I think another fun thing to consider is the fact that here I am, I'm out in this wood area, and I know for a fact there's bears here, because apparently the bears like totally decimated the beehive. She was trying to make some honey, and the bears kind of took care of that for him. And so, do I feel safe being out here? Yeah, 100%, man. I'm not worried. I'm not worried one bit. You know why? No humans. Humans, I think, are probably the worst thing you got to worry about, to be honest with you. So, you know, it needs to be a little bit bluer, because you know why, guys? This is so blue, and everyone's like, oh my God, it's not going to be blue skies, and this is like blue as you can get out here. So, you know what? I'm going to over blue the sky. Okay, so last thing we're going to do, because the whole point of this is to get these power lines coming through, okay? I mean, that's kind of the whole point. All right, this really did not turn out the way I was hoping to. I got to be honest with you. I might just scrape all that off. Start over. All right. Let's go ahead and try this again. I mean, the other option is to leave them out. But like when I did the ski lifts in the other video that you may or may not have watched, you know, I left the ski lifts out, which may or may not have helped the painting, but like I wasn't jazzed about them. But it may have helped the painting that I didn't do. All right, I want to get that pretty solid there. It's like there's some light that just comes down here. It'll be interesting to see if this blue comes out the way I'm hoping it does when I get it back inside and I can actually see things again. It'll be interesting to see if this is doing what I think it's doing. All right, I'm going to leave the power poles out, guys. Tough. Okay, let's just take another look at it. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try and zoom in on it. So it looks like somebody has a Sasquatch person down there. God, that's awesome. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so you know we got the scene, you know, with the bushes, this and that, you know, and so like I said, it's really hard to see everything right now. I gotta be honest with you. I mean, yeah, the donuts I had this morning aren't really agreeing with me, and I know I'm in the same bathroom as the bears use, but we're gonna see if we can make it back. Hope so. Okay, so you know, on the Friday that's supposed to get snow or whatever, I'll probably take that as a chance to just kind of stay inside and you know, just kind of take an assessment, see how things are going, how the colors are working, how everything's kind of going. I'll probably, you know, that's what I'll do. Maybe fix up whatever it needs to be done on that day. And then, or who knows, maybe just there's like a sunroom that you could stand in and maybe do a blizzard painting. That'd be kind of cool. All right, guys. On to the next one. Wait, bathroom first. Okay, so here we are. Still day one, I think. Three paintings. This is the third painting for today. I see this little, you know, stand of trees as goes into the this and that. So anyway, let's work up that composition and see how it goes. Now, here's the other thing: is if you also follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I am like tired, hungry. I just want to go take a shower, a nice hot shower, and call it a day. But you know, that's the part of coming out here is come out and you make it happen, and you know, like you're working. You know, it's a job or something. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm a little sick here. Kind of there's a good chance I may have overdone it. I'm not sure. But anyway, so I took yesterday off just to recover and curl up under the blankets and try and hydrate, because apparently it's a lot drier out here than it is at the coast. Anyway, so we're going to do this little scene here. You know, it's just I looked at it. It's kind of neat. Use the verticals to kind of, you know, frame it in, and then step it back into there with, you know, maybe the road coming through. Exaggerate the road a little, but the idea again is to just, you know, get these shapes of the snow, the warm, the cool. That's kind of cool because that's, you know, obviously what I don't ever paint. And then the little tree line in the background, that's going to be like one menagerie of abstract grayness. And then we'll put in some the verticals of the trees to kind of make it look like an actual forest of trees. But the general idea is that you want to simplify it so much that you're not getting caught in the fact that there's trees. And of course, we're going to bring in the blue sky. But I will say one thing: it is so bright. Oh my God, is it bright? So between the everything, oh, it's going to be a hard painting, guys. So let's follow along. Well, I'll tell you one thing that's upping the difficulty level here is gloves. Like, wow. And this is, you know, I've got the hand warmers in here, but it's the fingertips that are getting frozen. Then I'm trying to like pick stuff up, this and that, and it feels like, you know. Okay, for our colors, again, we've got super duper ice cold white. This is frozen over yellow, cool blue. We have not hot red, Now we're using some umber and some gray here, okay? Now this is a cool umber, raw umber, I think technically. And this is a, well, it better be a cool gray. Alright, so let's do that. And then, let's get to work. So we're going to mix up our blue and brown. Okay, keep it thin with some solvent. Maybe a little white. See, that's too blue, that's too whatever, so let's throw some more brown in here. And the other thing is, a lot of these paintings I've done so far, I've been using my standard color palette and mixing tendency, but there's like too much, I think, dark, too much contrast in it. And granted, it's so sunny, it is, it's like so sunny, you do get a lot of that contrast, but the idea is I want to like really flatten out that contrast. So with this one, I'm going to really go for flattening out the contrast and see what happens. And in order to do that, you start with, you got to kind of key off your, your darkest darks. And that's still pretty dark, So I'm just going to have this road, and then it comes up, and then it kind of like it's hidden, but it comes over this way. Alrighty, this is probably a good time as any to let you know in this part of the video that this video is sponsored by Carter Pools. Yay, Carter Pools! Carter Pools is located in the greater Buffalo area. So if you live up in the greater Buffalo, New York area and you want a pool come defrost time and the ground is in a frozen tundra, give Carter Pools a call. They are at 716-670-3244, and their website is carterpools.com, so you can see all the, how awesome of a job they do. And I can actually attest to the fact that they do an amazing job. They say the fun starts at the pool, but I think it starts more at the tiki bar. But anyway, they do the whole 9 yards. They'll dig the hole, put the pool in, and then do all the hardscape around it. And all the, it's 100% ready to go. I grew up with a pool in Southern California here, like everyone else does, and it's an absolute must. It really is. Even if you don't use it year round, you're still going to have that time where you said, "Oh, yeah, that was money well spent." And they also do the whole thing where you can have your spa running during the winter, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that, to be honest with you, because I sure could have used it here. So anyway, give Carter Pools a call and get in the waiting list for the summer fun time thaw out and get your pool installed. And that's about it, man. They're awesome. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to do it. But anyway, all right. Give Carter Pools a call. All right, back to the video, guys. Okay, so here's this really fun abstractness that we're going to do in the trees as it goes across. Right here is what we're going to do is just kind of do this abstract, just build up a fun texture here, guys. Let's build up a bunch of fun, go nuts, abstract-y kind of stuff, okay? Because then we'll come back and put in the trees that help define what this actually is. And yeah, I'm keeping this in the background pretty thin, not solvently thin, but keep the paint application thin. That'll make it easier to come back over it with some other defining characteristics, such as the trees I mentioned earlier. So that brings me to a different point. So this setup here, the sienna plein air, so you get the sienna, the box, the thing. So this was my backup set. Usually I use EZL. Now keep in mind I am not endorsed or this, that, or anything. So don't be thinking like, oh, he's just saying because. So I got the EZL a long time ago. Now I first started off with a French easel. That thing is shit, dude. If you're using a French easel, and I don't get it, you get these like top plein air painters that are like top dogs, and they're using like a French easel. I'm like, what in the hell's wrong with you, man? Jesus Christ, upgrade a little. Because those things are like the the most beginner thing ever. They're cheap, they're super uncomfortable to use and whatever. And I used it for a while, and then I got an EZL, and that one is pretty awesome. I love it. It's really nice. It sits up on top of the tripod. I can get up high enough to to match my height because I'm 6'2", so I need something up high. This actually can't get it up high enough. You're seeing the highest I can get this, and this is an 8x10. So anyway, so the Sienna was my backup for like because a painting buddy said, oh yeah, if I'm out on an event and this and that, and you know, like and he had an EZL too. And he said, if this thing breaks or something happens, something goes wrong, I need to have backup sent to me right away, and this and that. So I was like, oh wow, okay. So anyway, so this is my backup one I got. And so when I decided to come on this trip, I said to myself, you know, why don't I bring my backup one just to see how it works? Well, have I got some news for you guys. I like my EZL better. Now the Sienna is like really well crafted. I mean, I gotta admit, this is top of line craftsmanship. But I do have a few issues with it. I do have a few issues with what's going on here. Let's take a look at the painting real quick. I'm going to put some of the snow in now, you know. Let's put some of this, the warm snow. So one of the things, and again, I'm not, you know, don't read this wrong. I'm like bagging on Sienna Plein, because you know they make a fine product. They really do. The one thing is when you're mixing stuff, you know, as you can see, it wiggles. Now they all wiggle. All tripod stuff wiggles. Even the EZL one. I'm gonna do this here. You know, even the EZL one will wiggle on you and this and that. You gotta kind of hang on to the box as you're really scrubbing something in there or whatever. Whereas the French easel, you know, it's a bit more sturdy, so I do give it that. But the French easel, I mean, it's made of, you know, real shit wood, to be honest with you. It's a real fibrous, porous wood that just, it's not good. And then, you know, you got like 500,000 brass knobs you got to turn to get it all tight and figure out, and the thing's flipping all over on you. And anyway, so I don't know how some of those old timers do it. You know, it's always the old timer people, like the really good people that are like old. Anyway, so the EZL is made down in Irvine by Peggy. Peggy and her husband have that business, Peggy Chang. And I know her, so anyway, that's Peggy. But I don't know who Sienna is. I've never met these people. Anyway, but I do have a few design notes that Sienna here could use. Number one, this is like free market research too. Number one is I should be able to clamp this down on here, here, and here for an 8x10. All right. Number two, in the box, it's like just that short of being able to store your brushes in there. Now, maybe they had a design conference like, you want people to just store their brushes? And they're like, no. All right, we'll make it almost that they can, but not really. And so, like, all my brushes that I put in there, you know, and I put them in an angle, this and that, hoping it would do okay, but it doesn't. And then all the tips are, like, just, you know, kind of mushed over on the side. The other one I have is the Brian Mark Taylor, his Strata easel. That one is it's metal, it's heavy, and that's why I didn't bring it on this trip. But it's super durable, and but I couldn't figure out some of the quirkiness to how to, you know, like, wait, you gotta scrape all your paint off before you put it all away. Or what if I didn't want to do that? Well, then you're screwed. So Brian, give me a call and we'll talk about it. I'm pretty sure this video will never be, any of these people I talked about, this video will never cross their life ever. I'm pretty sure of it. So I'm not too worried. Another planar easel I've seen is the I don't know who makes it. It's a big giant A-frame thing. And that looks good if you're, especially if you're doing like, you know, big paintings. That looks really good for that, but I'm not doing that. All right, so again, we're not putting in any of the details of the snow, you know, because there's a lot of texture and detail in there. We're not doing that yet. We're just putting in, you know, like, so I'm not doing like this stuff, or I'm putting in like all the little details and the, you know, planes and everything. I just want to get like a general idea of how this is going in. And yeah, there's 2 trees that I've kind of put in there, except for this one. And there's like 1 million trees out there, so we're getting to it. Don't worry, we're getting there. All right, so the other thing is the weather says it's supposed to be cloudy and shitty all week long, but so far it's been sunny and everything. So make hay while the sun shines and you're not sick, and then you should be okay. But it says Friday now, like we had like a little snow flurry, and then Friday is supposed to be like, you know, it's like has the actual like snow icon on there. So you know, I don't know if that's different from whatever we've had before snow. I'm a little anxious to see. You know, and that I knew that everyone always tells me it's, you know, always really cold and windy and snowy. So I brought drawing stuff, pastels and everything, so I can go sit inside and, you know, just do some drawings. But I don't know, I haven't gotten that far in the video yet. Okay, back to this painting. Here we go. We got some white, some blue, and this blue, by the way, is ultramarine blue. I don't know if you caught the humor and the joke of all the cold anyway. We see, like, so here this panel is now loose, but when I put it in here, I had clamped it down. Like, I clamped it down nice and good, and now it's like, how the fuck did that even happen? I don't know. Okay, so now we're coming back in here with our white and our yellow. Very little yellow because we don't want it to be too forward, but it gives just a hint of warmth to it. But this is cad yellow medium, not super duper cold as ice yellow. All right. Funny enough, it's you know, if you're standing in the sun, it's not bad. So now that's what we're going to do, is we're going to go through and basically what we did there, where we're going to go up so you can see the hill going, you know, the trees sitting on the hill in there. So let's start putting some of these in. All right, so, you know, just kind of using it for inspiration, but not getting too caught up in it. You know, because we're still going to put the trees in there, and those trees are going to help figure some of this out. So while this negative shape here, like there, you know, we're putting in all these negative shapes to help define the trees, we're still going to put in the same background menagerie color that we have sitting right here. And, you know, monkeying with the value a little bit, like, you know, make it a little white. Okay, so we got a lot of this texture and everything put in. So let's go and start pulling out some details just to see what happens. If we need to add a little more texture, we can do that. If we need to, you know, obscure some lines, find and lose some lines, then we can do that. But it's very subtle, very, very, very subtle changes. Alrighty, maybe a few more just for funsies and giggles. You don't want them to be too evenly. You don't want them evenly spaced at all, because if you look out there, they're not evenly spaced. So don't do that. And start coming in with some white, because you see there's both dark and white, and now always get your shadows going on the same side, or else you're going to confuse the hell out of everybody. Alright, I'm going to leave that for now. Let's start putting in these other foreground trees to see if we can pull out some more detail, a little more interest in our subject matter, and all that good stuff. And I gotta be honest with you, even though it's quite pleasant out, the sun's still shining the whole 9 yards, I might have to call it early on this painting because I'm just still not feeling great, if you know what I mean. Alright, so these foreground trees here, I'm going to darken it up a little bit. So we're using our brown in this puddle here. I'm going to add a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow and our blue. Now this is a darker color from everything else, so once we mix it, now you can tell that it's in the same value range as everything else. Okay, how easy is that? Alright, let's take a step back and see what we got. Got my ears popping. How is that possible? So, you know, the painting's looking pretty good and I'm enjoying the heck out of it, but you know, the cold and the snow is kind of getting to me a little and my fingertips are getting numb. And so, you know, I guess that's one of the things with doing these types of paintings is, you know, going out somewhere new or whatever. Uh, you just got to kind of work within your parameters and just take what you can get. I mean, these are plein air paintings, they're sketches, they're not meant to be, you know, knockout paintings or anything, especially in this atmosphere. And I'm kind of like not feeling 100%, so I may not finish this one until I'll go back and finish this one inside, is what I'm saying. And it's just a physiological thing that I'm having. It has nothing to do with the painting or you guys. You guys are wonderful. You guys are the awesomest part of this whole thing. And I'm pretty sure the microphone has not been attached the whole goddamn time. Okay, now that the microphone is attached, I hope like hell does it anyway. Okay, so just to recap that in case the microphone didn't pick it up, it's take two. So here we are, and you know, this is so out of my norm of comfort for weather, but it's been a gorgeous day. The painting is looking pretty good. However, physiologically, I'm not really feeling it. I mean, it's like, I think 13 to 18 degrees somewhere. I don't know. That weather app hasn't been right yet. Anyway, so what I'm probably going to do is just call it here. Because I may need to go inside and warm up and hit the old bathroom. But other than that, it's not the painting. It's the physiological part that's calling it into this painting. And it's not you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are wonderful. You guys are the best part of this whole thing. All right. So anyway, I may do one or two more touches just to dick with it, but I have to call it at this point. I'm sorry. It's just. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. So today, I'm still getting a little over the cold here. So I decided to stay in the sunroom, which is not that sunny, but it is, it's enclosed and whatever. There is a little bit of clouds coming in, so, but it is nice outside. It's like so quiet. It's like, wow, is it quiet? It's quiet in here too. But I just had a little student come by, and so she did a little drawing, pastel. So that's what she drew. This is what I drew. She might be ahead of me. All right, so I'm just going to stay here and do some more drawing pastels on the Bristol board, actually, and see how this goes. Because, sometimes you just want to draw and just work out compositional ideas. It's nice and easy, and that's good. And all the other equipment isn't sitting in the back of the frozen something on the other side of the house. All right, hope that helps. Okay, so we finally got some snow. So exciting. But it's a light snow, a heavy, light, whatever. Anyway, I'm not going outside for sure. And so I'm inside the little sunroom. It has like all kinds of doors or windows, ceiling, floor windows. And so so I've set up here, and so what we're going to do though is we have the barn shed thing out there. But as much as I would love to wander around the property, get just the right angle to put this in, this and that, whatever, obviously we can't because we are secluded inside. So the question is, how do we design our painting to be more picturesque the way we want it, given the circumstances that we're in? So as we look out there, and it's like right here in the middle of the window, but up here, obviously we want, that barn to be either here, or maybe here, but we aren't going to do that. I'm thinking like, we got to offset it. You don't want to just paint a big barn right in the middle. So anyway, you put it to the left, you bring it up to the right maybe. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the barn basically being, just like, the little structure that it is out over here. And supposedly I gotta go down there and find the gas tank, or the gas, so I can go fill up the whole Forerunner again. Like I told the guy that I do for him. So, anyway, because driving that Forerunner was, it was a lot of fun. Anyway, so let's go ahead and just put in this barn right here, and this is obviously going to be our darkest thing too. All right. I do know that when the property was originally acquired, it was acquired from a guy who, had it for a while and this and that, whatever. Anyway, there's an old barn that was down there, and in that old barn, this is going as a barn find, and it was, I think, a Model T. Either Model T or Model A that was not in a running condition or anything. I mean, obviously it needed a lot of work, but it was, there's some pretty cool stuff in there. Anyway, no idea what happened to it though. I think it was sold or something. Anyway, so let's just go ahead and put in all these trees, branches, this and that, but we're going to go through them. This is just a, suggesting how this painting is going to go. This isn't how this, obviously final tree placement or anything. So what we're going to do though is we're going to really just focus on making this a menagerie of forest, this little barn out there. You could put whatever fun story you want. Oh my God, there's an alien spaceship in there. Yeah, okay, that'd be kind of a fun one. That'd be a fun story to put in your painting. Oh, did you go out to the barn? Yeah, what was out there? Aliens. Huh? Yeah, I did. I saw him. Said hi. Okay. And you lose a sale on that painting. Anyway, so let's go through here. There's this big kick-ass tree up front. Let's go ahead and put that in. Remember, we're just suggesting in where these, building up our composition. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're just building up our composition the way we want it to have some good balance. So this whole background is like one big menagerie background of trees and trees and more trees, but it's going to have a real neat abstract color to it, and we'll get to that here in a short second. This little menagerie of a color is going to be our real kicker of this painting. All right, so we need to really focus on this color. What color do you think that'll be? Anybody? Anybody? All right, you in the back there. What is it? Because it's the colors that are going to really just set the mood in here. So I'm using gray with just a hint of yellow. That's the other thing about being on this special trip. Not only using the sienna stuff that was my backup kit, but I used a lot of brushes that I don't normally use in my stuff, like the other stuff, because I was just going through and just finding a bunch of other brushes I had, like, yeah, I'll use that, okay, because again, remember, the brushes in the surface gives you an effect, so are these brushes given the effect I want to use, given these canvases that I made. Now the canvases are the same that I use for everything, because they are. Now granted, I've got canvas panels and linen panels. And then I ran out of linen and I made canvas. That's kind of how that went. Okay, I added just a little bit of yellow to it, and now I'm going to create some more texture here, because it's just we still have to come in with the trees to make the trees stand out a little more, but we want to create this real menagerie of texture in here. Am I drawing in the trees yet? No, not really. So what I'm doing is just adding texture. Just adding some of this texture, because you got to simplify the snot out of that. You can't. Okay, so as it turns out, the heater needed to be closer to me, so go Hopefully that'll make a difference. Okay, actually I take off the coat because I was getting too hot. All right, let's get back to work. Where were we? We are looking at this, and we need to. I'm not happy at this background. Okay, guys. I don't know what you were thinking. I don't know. Anyway, so we got yellow, or I'm sorry, we got white. If you look out there, I'm using like a white and a blue. So I just want to have like a nice neutral white with just a titch of blue, I think. And that's what we're going to use to kind of just put in this nice cool snow, especially in the background as it goes through the background here. And as it comes forward, or we'll add in the yellow. You know, got the overall je ne sais quoi what the scene is. So let's go ahead and put this tree in and this barn.
Because she's not a sociopath? She's asking you about notorious.
Okay, so then we take this here, and there's some more trees out there, but where are they? They're like kind of right in the background in there, and then another one that kind of goes right back up in here. Okay. You see how it goes from like the lower to the middle, it goes higher up as it goes further back. And then out in the back, we're going to put where the tree line is in the far back area, and then put in where some of these other trees go. Some of the big ones, not all of them. Okay, so then we're going to put in all those big trees in the background there.
Is it my turn to paint?
The kid actually had a better idea than me. She said paint the flowers. It's not a bad idea. I've got a dog and a cat. Alright, so instead of videoing the whole thing, I just want to show you the end process here and have a talk about it with this one. Because I'm in the sunroom of this place I'm staying at. So anyway, there's these trees out here, and you know, you get that slope and the trees right here and those and that. So what I really want to do is just simplify and just work on, you know, just how those shapes went right there. And I used a different brush. I used something that was very filbert, it's number 3 filbert, and so it allowed me to give some really softer textures in the background there, and that's what I was really kind of going for. The other interesting thing is, as you probably just saw, the light has been changing, coming and going like crazy. It's like minus 20, minus 23 with the wind chill, minus 3 without. So yeah, it's nice and chilly out here, I'll say this much. So with the wind and the clouds coming and going, the lighting has been somewhat challenging, but not the scene. The scene, you know, we just simplify that back, bring it in, put a lot of texture, interest into it, and then just, you know, kind of focus on our happy trees that we had here. So, all right, this might be the last one of the season up here. Might be one more, I don't know. Still have, I think, 2 days left of the what in the hell did Eric think he was going to happen this winter? Okay, on this trip. Okay. So this little scene I'm painting here is it's kind of up in this area that I'm looking out of. I don't really have a good view of it, but it's the general gist idea of the scene here. And so I'm kind of making it up a little bit as I go. Now the one thing for this is it's not what you paint, but how you paint it. And that's a lot of everything in life, right? It's not what you got, it's what you do with it. So anyway, so as I build up this, kind of a simple scene here, as I kind of build up this simple scene here, so what I want to do though is, really build up some great texture and some great interest and everything as it comes forward to make you just, get the idea you're looking up in this slope of trees and whatever. But the idea here in this little painting exercise is to really put forth our painterly skills, to really bring out the painterly in it. Okay, so that's what we're doing. All right, so here we are starting this painting here, and it's done. There's off in the distance there, I think there are some cherry bushes, not sure. Anyway, so here's the deal, guys. This one is the last painting of this little fun experiment trip, and I'm going to really get loose with the colors, okay? Like really push it hard because, why not? And that's the idea. But it's super quiet in here, so what I'm going to do is listen to the radio and not narrate live with this one. You just have to kind of watch and have fun. Alright, so this pretty much concludes the painting experience. I really hope you've had an enjoyable time on this little painting adventure and all that good stuff, because, okay, I hope you've had a fun time in this little painting adventure journey, and you stayed warmer than me. But aside from everything else, the whole point of this trip is I'm now going to launch my school site, skool.com, Enivert, or Erich Neuwert's Art School. I'm going to have a link and everything everywhere. And there's also a Patreon if you just want to watch the videos, get a little more out of them. You want to support the channel, support the artists and all that good stuff. I really would appreciate it. For the school account, it's going to be 2 classes a week working on skills and everything you can think of in terms of making you become a better artist. And I'm going to help you right along with that and have just the joy and the fun of painting and experience all the messiness and just really enjoying the heck out of it, just like I do. So, the whole point was to kind of launch my teaching aspect of my career after this little vacation, painting trip and all that good stuff. So I hope you join along, and I hope you, sign up And those classes, the live classes twice a week are going to be interactive. So, you know, you can talk, I listen, I talk back, I look at your work through the computer, and you watch what I'm doing, and then, you know, as I'm painting and demonstrating, you can ask questions along the way, all the good stuff. It's not just hey, watch this tutorial and be bored. No, it's interactive and is really to help you become a better artist. Anyway, that's about it. I will see you guys online. All right. Stay warm too.